Welcome back to the Means Report. Our thanks again to Lieutenant James Kelly for explaining what the SWAT team does. Now let's switch our focus to sex trafficking and how that endangers children right here in the CSRA. And to help walk us through that tough subject is Sergeant Terry Gore with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, a key part of the Criminal Investigation Division. Sergeant Gore, as I said to Lieutenant Kelly, thank you for what you do for us, for keeping us safe.
No problem.
You know, it struck me. We were emailing, I think it was yesterday, setting up this interview. And I said, are you okay to talk about sex trafficking and things like that? And you said, yeah, we need to address this epidemic.
Yes.
Is it that bad?
Right now, it's average for about 400 to 450,000 in the United States alone.
Oh, my word.
Right now, Georgia ranks number 5 in the nation when it comes to sex trafficking.
Let me ask you about this just to help people understand, because I was kind of confused. Are trafficking and smuggling the same thing? Because we'll see on TV, say a truck will have a bunch of people hidden in the back and they're being brought into this country. And I'm thinking, are they trafficking victims? Are smuggling and trafficking different?
Yes, they are different.
Okay.
Smuggling is transportation based, is location based.
Okay.
You get from one location to another. Trafficking is dealing with exploitation of some kind.
All right, so let's take a look at trafficking victims. Can you give me a feel for an age range and maybe where they come from?
Average right now to get into that life is about 11 years old.
No.
It right here in Richmond County. That's the earliest that we have, and it goes all the way up to 17 for child sex trafficking.
That's scary and sad. Where do the victims come from? Are these primarily, I'm guessing, girls, young women who are in our community and they get plucked out of it? How's it happen?
It is majority of females, correct.
Yeah.
It's about 75% are females that this goes into. However, when it comes into the system, it doesn't matter who you are. There's no race, religion, sex, anything, no socioeconomic, anything. You
can come from any walk of life.
Anywhere.
Well, what's that thing that gets them enticed, that makes them think, okay, I'll go with this bad guy and I'll live this dark life? What makes them take that step?
Most of them, it's internet.
Yeah.
All of every child we have is almost completely on the internet. So what they do is, these people that even I deal with, they get on the internet and they cast these wide nets looking for somebody that's going through a breakup, or someone has mental problems, or someone whose parents are getting divorced, something like those kind of triggers like that, and they go for those. So they find these children through those kind of, searching for those kind of words, and that's how they can start building a relationship with them.
Okay, as a parent, and my boys are older, but still, as a parent, you're making me want to go home and confiscate their phones, their devices, so they can't get on the internet. And I'm sure some viewers are probably thinking that right now too, if it means that they might get taken from me or trafficked. So how do we find that balance where they get to grow up with their devices, but we protect them still?
As long as you monitor, children are smarter than adults when it comes to this electronic stuff.
They are, yeah.
However, if we actually monitor them, watch them what they're doing, explain to them what dangers there are. I do a lot of speaking at classes all along the CSRA, every high school, elementary, it doesn't matter. I go and talk to all of them I can. Let them know that these are the dangers. These are right here, right now. And if we can talk to the kids and let them know that, okay, yeah, you might have fun on the internet, but if there are bad people that will be targeting you.
All right, so what's a move that a bad person would make to let that young person know that, oh no, this is turning really bad? Would they say, it's been nice chatting online for the past few weeks. I'm sorry you're going through a breakup or your parents are splitting up. Please come meet me someplace. Is it that where you know, uh-oh, this has crossed the line?
It won't be like that.
It won't.
The grooming that these people that do it to, especially these children, the groomers are very, very good at their job. That's what they do. So they will they'll make a relationship with them. It could last months. And eventually, once they get that trust going, then they'll see if they can get them out of the house.
Sergeant Gore, does I-20 play a role in the troubles that we see here? When we've been talking about trafficking, I'm picturing truck stops and things along where people can, come and go with ease because of that interstate. Is I-20 kind of our enemy in that regard?
I-20 and South Carolina.
Okay.
South Carolina is a couple of hundred feet away from us.
Right.
So that's a different jurisdiction. And these traffickers, they know that. Most of the trafficking, though, is done online. We receive a lot of child sexual abuse images that come from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We get a lot of those that come here all the time. And then those, as long as it's a representation of some kind of act, that equals out to trafficking, as long as there has been something of value traded.
How do you catch the trafficker? Is it a matter of behind the scenes electronically monitoring them
Yes.
online, and then you go get them? Is it that?
Almost, yes.
Yeah.
We do. Once we identify where the person is downloading or uploading these images from, we will trace their IP addresses, and we can find them that way.
If I am at a truck stop and I see a child who I think something is not right, that they may be being kept against their will and potentially trafficked, what do I do? Because I don't want to pester y'all, but how do we let you know and let you get involved?
It's not pestering. We actually need that information.
Yeah.
There's only so many deputies that are out there. So if you give us a call, you can call a non-emergency number and just say, hey, this is what we have, this is what we need, or this is what I see. We can go talk to them. If it's nothing, it's nothing. But if we can save that one child that you saw, that may be that one child that needed the help.
Sergeant, have you ever encountered a situation where the victim, and maybe it's because they've been brainwashed, but they say, no, I'm good, I like this person, I don't need to be rescued? Do you ever run into that?
Every single time.
Really?
Right now, it's called trauma bonding, or it used to be called Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
That happens every single case we have. There's actually even case law now in Georgia for that purpose. They said they know that they were never trafficked. So yes, that is everybody.
Well, and so at that point, you don't say, okay, fine, have a great day. You still take them and protect them, right? It doesn't matter what they say.
Especially for our children, we actually take them to the Child Enrichment Center. We get them forensically interviewed, and then they do trauma therapy, they do counseling, everything for them, and it's free of charge for them.
They do an amazing job.
Oh, yeah.
They just do.
We're there every single day.
Oh man, well thank you for that. They're just awesome. We love them. They've been on this show a lot. All right, so you talked about knowing what our children are looking at on their devices. How do we just raise them overall to not be victims of trafficking or abuse or anything like that? You don't want to scare them by describing this dark world that we live in, but how do we do a better job of protecting them, making them street smart?
Again, just tell them what the dangers are. You don't have to be explicit.
Yeah.
Let them know that some of the people that they're talking to are not their friends. They're not their friends from school. Because the traffickers, the people that are targeting them, they'll pretend that they're their children, that they're friends from school.
Right.
Just let them know that they're not always that way. Just be careful. And if they think something's off, or someone wants to start giving them stuff, or ask them where they're living, or where they go to school, then tell your parents.
Are the people who, and I don't know the right way to say this, are the people who are on the other side of the transaction, who are seeking children from these traffickers, are they local people? Where do they come from?
All over the world.
All over
and
the
they
world.
can be, again, socioeconomic doesn't matter. Race, color, creed, religion does not mean anything. Anyone can be a trafficker. Anyone can buy the trafficked victims.
You mentioned child enrichment. Have you seen a lot of success stories where you'll take a child out of a horrible place and then, I don't know, after a few months or years or whatever, you see that person kind of live in a brighter, healthier place in life?
Literally thousands.
Yeah.
Yes, they have done a very good job. We have a very high success rate of getting, once we get them into therapy for a while, they actually do come forward and start being productive.
What made you want to do this? You could have stayed on road patrol and just kind of lived out your life like that, but you say, no, I'm going to enter this terrifying place and I'm going to help kids and families. What lit that spark in you?
I started investigating trafficking and stuff back when I was actually in the Navy.
Yeah.
And I saw what happened to these people and what happens when you're actually in this life, the trauma and the abuse you have to go through, and there's no one speaking for them. Nothing. All they have is themselves, and no one was actually searching for them. Now we do.
Thanks to you, and thanks to the other people at CID and throughout law enforcement. Sergeant Gore, I can't thank you enough for what you do. I mean, our children are our most precious things in our lives,
right.
And you step up and protect them, and I thank you for that.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Sergeant Terry Gore, Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Pay attention to what he said. We can help get these bad people off the streets and save our kids. When we come back, we want your feedback. We're going to show you how to keep in touch with the Means Report. What'd you think of Misters Gore and Kelly? Let us know, and we'll get more great guests like them when we come back.